Your energy isn't depleted because you're lazy or broken. It's depleted because you never learned how to budget it properly. This week, I'm putting my own energy budgeting system to the test. Can it actually work for a real human in real life? That's what we're here to find out. Have you ever tried to budget your energy before? What would your biggest energy expenses be? Welcome to the Power Test Lab, and today we're testing energy budgeting. I'm a scientist, or at least I was many moons ago, so everything I do feels like an experiment. I'm trying to figure out how to fix some of my power problems through trial and error. But the Power Test Lab is also about community and co-experimentation. So I'd love for you to try this too. I've already figured out that energy is a problem, and when I fix my energy, everything else just goes really well. It all just slots into place. And I'm pretty sure it's the same for you too. However, my ability to stay on top of my energy levels has always been pretty poor. Just as soon as my energy seemed okay, I would slip backwards. That is, until I worked on my energy budgeting system. If you have no idea what the energy budgeting system is, then go back to my last video and I explain it all in that one, step by step by step. Today is all about putting it to the test. So let's go over to Dr. Becky, the scientist, to explain just how scientific this is. Well, thank you, Becky. Let's start with the hypothesis. My hypothesis is that energy budgeting will help me maintain a more steady energy over time and reduce the number and intensity of burnouts. This in turn will help me more consistently work towards my goals and therefore help me to have more impact with my work and perform better in my gymnastics. Just in general, help me be more successful on my terms. Basically, well-budgeted energy equals more positive power. If you could magically free up extra energy for one thing, what would you put it towards first? Your side hustle? Your hobbies? I'm so curious. So why have I made this hypothesis? Well, I have already been trying to implement this system, and it has definitely helped me dig myself a long way out of burnout. But I wanted to look a little bit deeper. I wanted to observe more. The method. I will run this test for 1 week. I will be observing daily using my energy ledger, and I'll be doing regular check-ins. Would you try tracking your own energy salary for a week? And would you want a template to help you do that? If so, let me know in the comments. I can share mine. We will be measuring short-term outputs in this experiment using self-reflection of my feelings. How energetic do I feel? How tired do I feel? How sick do I feel? How miserable do I feel? How happy do I feel? We will also be getting a sense from my self-reporting about the energy cost of different activities and the different bonuses that we might give out. Quantitatively, but subjectively, we will assign energy values to different activities and observe whether through doing this observation I am more observant of my energy usage. So what happened this week? Did I manage to end the week with more energy than I started with? Simply put, I'm measuring the energy I use up and the energy I get back every single day. As my life has changed quite a lot recently, I'm still figuring out which activities use up a lot of energy or how much energy they use up, and which activities really give me that energy back. I'm also still figuring out what my salary should even be every day as I come out of burnout, not wanting to slip back in. I'm also still trying to figure out what my daily salary should be as I try to get myself out of burnout, not wanting to slip straight back in. I started with a fail this week. I did not put my plan in place before I got going, and I will tell you why that's a fail later on in the video. Rather, I decided to plan day by day and figure out where my energy coins should come and go while I was in the moment. I should know better than to trust myself, right? The first day put me on the back foot from the off. I ended up having weird issues digesting my food and vomited for about half the day. Sorry for TMI. It was really strange because I didn't seem to have a bug, I didn't seem to have food poisoning, and I wasn't sick any other time during the week. So who knows what was actually going on. Day 2, I was feeling much better and I had a particularly good training session in the gym. When gymnastics goes well, it makes me feel great. And it really does help to boost my energy. Since starting regular implementation of my energy budgeting system, I've been realizing just how important it is to create plenty of space. In the past, I seem to very quickly forget that I'm in energy deficit. And after just a couple of days, I pack my schedule full again. And then I just slip straight back into energy issues. So my current schedule takes that into account and it's a lot more manageable. Now it's time to go over to the reporter on the scene to check out Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. Becky, over to you. Welcome to my energy diaries. This is day 3 of the week. And I've been pretty gentle with myself so far. I think I definitely entered the week in energy debt, but I've been able to have some relatively slow days, which is normal for me at the beginning of the week. I keep the beginning of the week a bit quieter because I have busier days as the week goes on. Day 3, so today I actually am docking a coin from my salary today because I woke up with a pretty bad headache and migraine-y type feelings, but I feel like I'm working through it. It's still there a little bit, but it's obviously not like a full-blown migraine. So I'm docking it, but then I'm giving myself a coin back. I'm giving myself a bonus because I got up a little later and I had a very slow first couple of hours of the morning, just like being really gentle and doing what I needed to do to not feel so queasy. So we're back to 5 to start with. Then this morning I'm going to be doing computer work at home, so editing, admin, that's basically everything I always do when I'm at home. But I'm not going to push it, I'm going to take it gently, see how my head feels. And then this afternoon is my entrepreneur in residence afternoon at Set Squared Bristol, so I will be going in. I've got some one-to-one coaching sessions with entrepreneurs. There's also an event today, but it sort of overlaps with some of the other things, so show my face there too. So I think this morning is probably only, it's 1 to 2 coins, maybe it's 1.5 coins, we'll see how it goes. And then this afternoon will be at least 3 coins. I think every working afternoon is at least 3 coins, so that's 4.5 coins already used, and then I have to walk there and back, and depending on my energy state, that walk might be 0 coins because it's nice to do a walk. There's things that give me energy and there's things that are going to use a bit of energy, but we'll see how it goes. If I end up spending that walk doing lots of work, or if there's something stressful going on, then obviously we will revise that and it will take up some coins. I don't have any plans for this evening, so kind of a day of just a gentle day. That's a good day for me at the moment. Good balance. We'll see how hardcore this afternoon is. Might not be as much as 3, so we'll see how it goes. I look forward to checking in with you again soon. So today was a success, and the reason energy budgeting is so successful is because it stops you from just doing those extra little things, which if you had millions of coins, if you were in a really great energy place, you could do. But when you are in a low energy budget place, you need to be conscious of those things. For example, I could have stayed around. There was an event going on at work when I finished my one-to-one mentoring, and I could have kind of hung around, have a few conversations, but the truth is that would have just drained me very, very quickly. Probably 20 minutes of that would have been a whole energy coin. So I just was like, no, actually, I can't spend that energy right now. I need to walk home. And now I'm getting somebody else to cook my dinner for me too. And this may even be like a bit of a bonus because I'm chilled, I'm sat outside. It's a nice day, although it might start raining anytime soon. Get to have some nice food in a chilled space and not have any clearing up to do afterwards. Hello, time for today's energy check-in. So I had a weird night's sleep last night. I woke up at 3 a.m., 3:30, and then could not go back to sleep. So at 4:30, I took my duvet, went to the living room, had a cup of tea, and just like chilled on the sofa, had a bit of a nap. Did sort of go back to sleep for an hour or so, and then got up. So I have less energy today, giving myself less coins to start with. We're gonna start with 4 instead of 5. I don't feel too bad, and I went to sleep fairly early yesterday. Did have a headache most of the day yesterday, and that's gone today, thank God. So I'm giving myself, like I said, 4 coins. Today is a commuting day, so I'm working in Bath. Already had a meeting, I'm running a workshop later, and then I have another meeting, and then I am coaching tonight, so I also have that. So all of those things are relatively straightforward, but we have a few extra coins to add on. So the commute is probably about 1 in total, because I do an hour and a half commuting to Bath and back, and then 45 minutes commuting to the gymnastics centre and back. All of that time is kind of listen to music, I can do other nice things, so I can sort of decrease the impact, but it's still probably 1, or let's call it 0.5 actually, it's not too crazy, and it can be quite chill. Maybe we don't even need 4. We'll see how the rest of it goes. That's where we're at right now. I don't work from my bed very often, and there's actually not many tasks I can, in fact, do from my bed. But this morning, my energy levels are very low, and I've also got pain in my back. So thankfully it is Friday. I do try to create some space on Friday, because we know that there is often energy debt from earlier in the week. So today is finishing off all my social media scheduled, chopping some YouTube shorts, getting them scheduled. Then there is a project that I really want to do some reading around, so I'll also do that, and I guess that might happen from the bed too. But we might not end up doing anything, because we might just lay here for a while. Oh, in terms of coins for today, well, like I said, because I woke up feeling not great, I think that we've probably only got about 3 coins for today. And those 3 coins will be spent on gently working on this at-home work I'm doing today. I'm then going training / coaching, probably mostly coaching. Some light movement will help as well. And then coaching will probably be 2 coins, because it's 4 hours altogether of coaching. 4 hours of coaching, 4 hours of work. Can we keep that below 3 coins? And now you understand why I go into energy debt. I kind of know that I'm a bit optimistic about how much I can do, and it upsets me to know that my limits are probably lower than I think they are. But if I did respect those limits more, then I would not burn out as often, and I would be able to be more sustainable over time. And that would eventually allow me to feel like I was more consistent, trust myself more. But there is a reality of having an autoimmune condition in particular that it just jumps up, bites you in the bum, and you do spend days just like working with the pain. The only thing you can do is not battle yourself in your own head and focus on the things that you do actually care about and prioritize those things. And prioritization becomes even more important, and it's something I'm not very good at doing, but really tightly focusing on those that matter the most to you and making an impact in those spaces. Did I talk in the microphone, Angie? You think the microphone's food? It's not food. It's not food. It's my Saturday check-in, and on my energy budget, because the way I budgeted the week, I have ended up with like good Saturday energy. So for many weeks, Saturday has either been busy or I've just been in energy debt, and so I haven't been able to like just enjoy a Saturday. There's always obviously like chores to do on a Saturday, and it's always felt like a real struggle. Today it doesn't really feel like that at all. It might be a little bit because I've got several things on this weekend. I also wanted to save up some of my energy for later on in the weekend. So tonight I'm going to the theatre, which is not going to cost me anything energy-wise, apart from the fact that theatre is at night time. And so when I would normally be lying on the sofa, chilling out, I am going to be in the theatre. But the theatre will energize me. It's just I won't sleep as much. I also have like a day out with one of my friends tomorrow, which is a very different Sunday as well from my normal Sundays, which are training Sundays. So I'm not going to be doing gymnastics tomorrow. I'm trying to just chill on that, really. Sometimes I would have stressed about that because I have a competition in 3-4 weeks time, and it's really stressful if you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to get to train. But I've actually just keep coming back to this, what I know to be true, which is if I have energy, I do a good job. If I don't get to train tomorrow, well, then I'm going to have more energy when I train later on in the week. So yes, it means missing some repetitions, some sessions, but that's okay. So today, energy-wise, I've already been to Pilates. That does cost a little bit of energy. It's like quite high intensity because I do what's called uplift, so it's all like plyometrics. So it is a bit of a cardio session as well as kind of strength power. Then I'm going to the theatre later. So otherwise, I'm pottering around my house. I've like done a face mask. I've waxed my legs. I've done a hair mask, which I always do on Saturday. So kind of nice things, really. They're the type of things when you don't have to do them under stress, when you've actually got time to do them. For me, they don't take up really any energy. Like I might spend 0.5 a coin just pottering around. Need to get that desk sorted out. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to be a chill day. I want to schedule some posts again. Can do that in a pretty chilled way. Yesterday, working from bed worked really well. I think that did help me get my energy back. I did some choreography with one of my friends, and I actually felt like I could do that in a way that was like just fun, and it flowed easily. Because again, I think I was kind to myself earlier in the day. Anyway, that's Saturday. I will see you for my check-in tomorrow. Hello and welcome back to the studio. I want to fill you in on Saturday and Sunday. They were much more social than my weekends normally are. Normally weekends are quiet, recharge and times to train. Not so much about being around people. Now the activities I was doing and the people I was with were really lovely. And so there were some bonuses in there, but there were definitely some surcharges too. And it's always a little bit rough when the weekend has been pretty social. That seems to then hit me for the whole rest of the next week. But we'll see if we can actually make it catch up because we're now energy budgeting like a beast. In many ways, this was a pretty normal week. The headaches I've been getting seem to be a bit more of a regular occurrence, unfortunately. But there are plenty of indications that my energy levels are getting better. Not least my ability in the gym and my stamina and consistency with my work, particularly with content creation. When you look back at your own schedule, what would you change to get into energy surplus? Or would you keep it exactly as it is? Comments below. It'd be great if you let us all know. You might inspire somebody else here, and you might inspire me. As you can see, I now have set myself up a rather quiet working week. I think I probably do the equivalent of about 36 hours, but I do work a couple of evenings a week as well at the moment. Only some of my work requires commuting. I do get to be quite flexible. I get to work from home a lot. So I'm in a really lucky position. Having said that, I really do still feel like I'm at my limits at the moment. I do not feel like adding extra into my schedule would be possible. And the numbers, they'll tell you why. I'm still in energy deficit. I started this week at a -3. And then this week we also had a lot of social activities at the weekend. So this is going to mean we're still making slow progress in terms of getting out of that energy debt. So why didn't I just cancel those social activities at the weekend and claim back all those coins? Because it just happened that these activities happen to fall on the same weekend, and I wouldn't trade them. I just have to be conscious of how I'm using my energy around those activities. Have you ever started the week in energy debt? What helps you get back out? I'd love to hear your strategies because I am ready to get out of energy debt right now. So let's head back over to Dr. Becky for the conclusions of this test. In conclusion, I still massively underestimate the amount of energy I need and the amount of energy I spend on different activities. I also underestimate the surcharges. This particularly happens if we are trying to make decisions in the moment. This is why I fail when I don't plan. Planning in advance helps me to have a much better perspective over my energy usage. Now, I had some days of bad sleep and some illness this week, and those days really should be a maximum of 3 coins. We've got to get used to cutting things down right away so that we can come back strong once we're feeling better. No alone time is a big deficit to me. I did not need to do this exercise to know that. I was already very aware of it, but this just highlights for me how important it is to have lots of alone time, and without that, we're going to be racking up lots and lots of surcharges. I spoke about this a little bit in the last video, but time spent doing activities is not directly proportional to the energy it takes up. For example, coaching for an hour on a Thursday was the same number of coins as coaching for 3 hours on a Friday. Working in an office for 30 minutes on Wednesday was just the same as working in an office for 90 minutes on Thursday. This might be different for different people, and there are some activities where it will be more proportional. And in fact, it might even go up even higher when it's longer sessions. But some of these activities, most of the energy is taken up in that first kind of initiation. And then once you're in the flow, you can focus a little bit more, and the energy doesn't get burnt as quickly. Let's head back to Becky to wrap things up. Energy is one of the most important things, but it's not everything. A once-a-year trip with my friend, a gymnastics competition, a night out at the theatre with my family. Those are the things that life is made of, and I'm not going to stop living my life. Which activities in your life are worth the energy splurge, even if they do put you into deficit? I'd love to hear your non-negotiable energy expenses in the comments, and not just those everyday necessities, those other activities that make life worth living. Remember, your energy budget is not about living a perfectly balanced, boring life. It's about consciously choosing where your energy goes, so you can live a life that actually feels good to you. No guilt, no perfection, just awareness and choice. If you found this Power Test Lab experiment helpful, even somewhat chaotic, then hit the like button below and consider subscribing if you want more real life tests, honest reflections, and research-backed ways to build power on your terms. I hope you enjoyed the Power Test Lab. Let me know. This is the place where we keep it messy, real, and just a little bit nerdy. And next week, I'll be back with a brand new video, so I will see you again soon. Bye!